What's up, anglers? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you the top 5 tips you need to know while playing Fishing Planet. Let's get into it. Alright, tip number 1. Know your limits. So let's look at the rod and reel in particular. Here I have a Basscaster rod, 7 foot 3 inches. And the limits are the lure weight, the line weight, and the length. Let's look at the line weight. You could put up to 23 foot-pounds on your test line. Alright, you don't want to put 23 foot-pounds, but you can, okay? And your lure weight is a big thing here. You can't put what your rod can't handle. So in this case, 1 3/7 ounces is the limit, okay? That's the rod there. Alright, so let's take a look at the reel here. We have limitations with the reel on the left side. You have the max drag, how much line you could put on that reel, as well as the speed and recovery, okay? I would say the biggest thing with reels is you want to have a good drag and a good recovery, and also a good ratio on your reel, okay? So with drag, your limitations are how much stopping power you have on the fish pulling out your line. I would say that's a big thing in this game, so know your limits. Know what you can handle and what you can't. Recovery, you need to know your limitation on recovery, because you need to know how fast that reel spins pulling in line, okay? That's what recovery tells you. So it tells you it does 33.5 inches each time it goes around once, okay? The reason you need to know recovery is because you want that fish in your hands as fast as possible. So you want the best drag and recovery mix possible. Alright, so for the ratio, it's how fast the gearing is on your reel to pull in line. So it works tandem with the recovery. And the weight and the bearings, you really don't need to know that because it doesn't affect gameplay as of right now. Alright, so with that being said, you know your limits of your rod and your reel, okay? So in this case, my line weight would be 23 pounds, okay? And my reel, my max drag is 22 pounds, right? So you want to go something below those two numbers, because if you were to go with a line that is stronger than what your setup is, you could potentially break your rod and your reel, okay? So when I have this setup, I'm only going to break what's on my line, and that would be just my crankbait. So that's limitations for rods and reels. Alright, let's look at fishing licenses. There are two kinds of fishing licenses, a basic and an advanced. You need to know the limitations between both of those as well. The basic is catch and release with most trophies and uniques, okay? You can take, in this case, some trophies, but in most of the times you cannot catch the big fish with a basic license. Also, night fishing is forbidden with a basic license. So you need to know your limitations between your advanced and your basic. With advanced, you could take any fish at any time, and do whatever you want. So you need to know your limitations with that, okay? Alright, next thing we're going to look at is the bait. There are countless times where I have ran out of bait. So you really need to know your limitations with bait. You need to know what type of bait to bring. You need to know how many to bring for as long of a stay you're going to be out there, okay? So know your bait, know your limitations, know what you could bring, and know what's not at the store at that map, because not all maps have the bait you need to fish at that spot. Alright, tip number 2, do not buy the latest gear. Why do I say that? It's because, especially with beginners, people want to get the latest gear to catch the biggest fish, and they think that's going to help them. No. You need to stick with what you got and what you can afford, essentially. Because this stuff is not cheap. As you can see, the price keeps going up and up. And to be honest, you don't need the latest gear to fish at where you're at. You just need to go with what works. And another thing is, if you were to get the latest gear and fish at the spot, especially with beginners, you're gonna lose XP, and you're gonna halt yourself from gaining more gear and unlocking more maps. So you want to just stick with what you got. So I would say upgrade slowly. Don't get the latest and greatest. Don't go for your max cap level gear. Go like a few levels below that and you should be okay. Alright, tip number 3. Plan trips accordingly. Don't just go out to a map and expect to catch the fish with what you got, okay? Some cases that'll work, but if you're trying to catch a particular fish and you don't have the bait with you, that could be a problem. So just go to the map menu, look through each fish, look through what baits you need, and you should be alright. Another thing, look how much the cost is for the overall trip. So travel costs with the license cost as well. Another big thing is the days. You need to know what kind of weather you're going to be getting into, what kind of chums you need to bring. Just plan ahead of time for the weather curve. Look at the bite map and you should be alright. So along with your gear and your baits, you want to know how long you're going to be staying out there for. For beginners in particular that don't know this, once you're at that map location, each day that passes by is cheaper than if you were to travel out there each time. What I mean by that is, say you fast forward a day at that map, it's only going to cost you $1,000 or $2,000, a couple $1,000, right? So if you were to leave that map and then go back, it would cost you that travel cost. So in this case, $7,000. So stay as long as you can. Bring a big keep net so you could catch as much as you can. I know a lot of people that don't know this and they just waste money thinking, hey, you know what, I'm just going to go grab some bait, be right back, and they end up in debt or they're struggling with their gameplay. So stay out there, stay there a couple of days, fill your keep net, and with each day that goes by that you restart, your keep net will empty and it's a whole new day. So it's a win-win in my opinion. So just stay out there and fish. Tip number 4, save your bait coins. The reason I say this is because people like getting stuff that is replaceable. For instance, a rod with bait coins. Okay, some instances it's good. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. These special edition stuff is good. But what you really want are the stuff that is irreplaceable. Like for instance, this unlimited fishing license here. I've purchased the unlimited advanced Florida license and I don't have to worry about this charge here. I can stay here as long as I want. Okay, that's what I use my bait coins for. How do you get bait coins? You do challenges, you win competitions. Okay, so just save it for the stuff that is irreplaceable. I wouldn't spend it on like rods and reels. Okay, so use your bait coins wisely. Use them on maps, and I would say some lures like crankbaits, but use it for what is not irreplaceable. Alright, tip number 5, know your spawn points. Each map has a spawn point where fish come into the world at, basically. I know what you think is that the fish just roam around here at random. That is not true, okay? So spawn points like this one here, as you could see, there are fish jumping around out of the water. That is a spawn point. This is where fish spawn in at. There are other spawn points like here where little fish spawn and you might not see them splash up. So you just need to know where the fish are hitting at and where the fish are concentrated at. Okay, there are multiple spawn points in every map. So in this case, there are spawn points in here and then spawn points over here. By playing the map, you'll get a feel of where all the spawn points are, and also you could look on YouTube. A lot of people put on where you could catch the most fish or where you catch a particular fish at what time. So just know that fish are not roaming around at random. Sometimes they are, but most of the time they're at these spawn points. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this tip video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I really enjoy doing this for you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.